Every one of you can go on our website and sign a petition for a world without nuclear weapons.
Для меня это очень важно.
For me, it is very important.
У нас уже более 160 тысяч голосов.
We have more than 160,000 signatures already.
Еще раз хочу сказать вам спасибо, потому что вы сегодня герои.
And I would like to thank all of you today because you are the heroes.
Вы делаете эту акцию для нас.
You are doing this campaign for us.
Для тех, которых уже нет с нами.
For those who aren't with us today.
Я очень рад видеть сегодня японских друзей.
I'm very happy to see my Japanese friends here today.
Я был в Хиросиме и Нагасаки.
I was in Hiroshima and Nagasaki.
Я был и в штат Невада на вашем полигоне.
And he was also in Nevada at the testing site here.
Я участвовал в митингах протеста.
And I've attended protest meetings.
И сегодня, вот с этого места, давайте обратимся к главам всех государств, которые продолжают гонку вооружений.
And today, let us speak to all the leaders who are continuing the arms race.
Дайте нам мир для наших детей без опаски ядерного оружия.
Give us a world safe for our children without the threat of nuclear weapons.
Я не могу сделать этот жест, помахать рукой ядерному оружию.
I can't exactly do the gesture to wave goodbye nuclear weapons.
Я могу только пнуть ногой.
I can only kick.
Поэтому я прошу, вы сделайте это за меня.
But I want to ask you to do it for me.
Еще раз вам всем удачи и спокойствия вашим семьям.
Good luck to everybody and happiness to your homes.
Thank you very much.
We're honored to have you today. Now it is the time for us to do the wave. Please raise your right hand and wave slowly, right to left, as we say together, goodbye to nuclear weapons. Are you ready? Yeah, let's go. Goodbye to nuclear weapons. Let's go. Goodbye to nuclear weapons. 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 Thank you so much.
Yes, if you want to follow up on the global wave, I think there's more than 100 locations around the world participating in the global wave in the next 24 hours. You can check it out on Global Wave in the Facebook. I would like to hand over the emceeing now for the second half of the rally to George Martin of Liberty Tree Foundation and Nadia Buena from Peace Action New York City. Please have the floor.
Hello, family. No more war. No more war. No more war.
Hey everyone! So we have another performer for you. A former U.S. Marine, Megasip, is a writer, a teacher, a poet, and a social activist. In 2003, Megasip recorded his first full-length album. Now the world can celebrate his third full-length release. Civil I Am is a concept album capturing the stories and emotions from his time in the U.S. Marine Corps. He is donating 100% of the sales of his album to Veterans for Peace. So please see him after the show and go to megasip.com and follow him on Twitter @megasip.
Thank you, thank you. That's MEGACIPH, mental energies gather and circulate in positive harmony. Let's say no more war! This is a letter to my mother, to all the mothers of military sons and daughters. I promise. know it broke your heart when I signed up for the service. Your baby chose to leave as if all you did was worthless. 17 years working 2 jobs to support us. For all of your guidance, I still saw the higher purpose. Or so I thought, and I walked. I had to be a man. Stand on my own, learn to fight, kill and withstand and withstand. A friend I still have to this day. Packed my bags, boarded that bus and went away. And oh, the games they play on your mind. They sent me first and left my man behind. Told us it would be fine, we'd be in the same platoon. Alright brother, I love you and I'll see you soon. The next 3 months was just punishment and torture. The eyes pushed to your hardest and kill anything softer. We started with 75 and graduated 30. Damn, they really made a brother feel worthy. Forever promise. So much potential I can hold the clouds. So much promise, promise to say it loud. I promise to spit fire only to control the crowd. Forever promise to the few in the crowd. So much potential I can hold the clouds. So much promise, promise to say it loud. Promise to spit fire only to control the crowd. I've been lucky, never had to kill a man. But if I had to, yeah, I could just kill a man, woman or child. Is that my fam? The shame of it all, like why they put it in the Klan. Boots on foreign land. Protect America? From what? This threat is hilarious. Al-Qaeda? That was created by us. By us, I mean our leaders with their sick bloodlust, and I should trust? Obey blindly? Orders from the top? Given kindly? And who am I? Never mind me, I'm just the overlooked voice of the poor majority. Trusting in this country to keep its first promise. Protect the voice of the people and always remain honest. This dishonest land of the money tree enslaved to the almighty ungodly dollar and getting paid. How many boys signed up to serve their countries in war? How many parents never want to get that knock on the door? How many men saw their friends shot, brains on the floor, coming home post-traumatic, and now how many more? If I could make one promise, it would be to end it all. No more slaughters at the school or at the local mall. This can't go local, y'all. Let's get national calls. Take it international, make peace fashionable, and bounce it off the verge at the bottom of the screen. The amount of absurd problems make me want to scream. I count on being heard because I have a dream. Make some noise when you hear this if you know what I mean. It's time to scream, time to yell, time for dreams and passion. Now living in hell. Just look to the past for what the future will tell. We either change the present or, oh well, forever promise to the few in the crowd. So much potential I can hold the clouds. So much promise, promise to say it loud. I promise, spit fire only to control the crowd. In the years since I've been out, I've done a world of things. Made a world of difference to some future kings and queens. Impressed a ton of people, but still seeking it myself. After the family crossed the minefield, there's all or nothing else. That night, my soul went to hell and back. When babies hanging barbed wire, we're ordered to hold back. What holds us back from breaking orders? What keeps us from breaking right to hold obscure orders? These are broad questions with pinpoint answers. Why are people persecuted for smoking the cure for cancer? Why global greenhouse emissions still not addressed? Why incarcerate instead of educate? I'm not impressed. We're impressed with fear, scared of change or the other. Allowed our government to become Big Brother. Was it a big blunder, a grand mistake or fate? Thought I walked through the valley of death, I am awake. Forever promise to the few in the crowd. So much potential I can hold the clouds. So much promise, promise to say it loud. I promise to spit fire only to control the crowd. Forever promise to the few in the crowd. So much potential I can hold the clouds. So much promise, promise to say it loud. I promise to spit fire only to control the crowd. Hey yo, lift your hands up. Hold the clouds, grab the clouds with me. Grab the clouds with me. If you know we have won. Peace, y'all. Go to megasife.com, MEGACIPH. Peace and love, peace and planet.
And surviving of our planet Earth. Coming from Europe, I have to tell you that we have again a very dangerous situation. Europe is going to war again. The Ukrainian war has a danger to become a big war, not only in Europe, and the dynamic of such a war could be the use of nuclear weapons. So we have to say again and again, no to war. No to war in the background of all our actions, and we have to enlarge these actions. We have to have in mind that the government spending $1.8 billion every year for military military purposes. $1.8 billion US dollars, and every day 5,000 children are dying. The healthcare system in the world are destroyed. No education for millions of people. The sanitarian consequences for millions of people means to die much too early. That is to say, without military reduction, without using the money which we are spending for military purposes, for civilian issues, for social affairs, for building, the world will not be sustainable, the world will not survive. So we have to overcome militarism in all kinds. At universities, in the education, we have to find for a new global surviving system. This means we have to fight for a sustainable world without wars. And no one will give this for us without our actions. We have to radicalize and we have to develop more actions and more movements. Let us stop trusting any governments. The governments will not go our way. We have to fight on every street. We have to occupy the streets again. And let us say, New York 2015, this is the start point for developing a worldwide movement against war and nuclear weapons. Let us
united for peace and justice. Now, National Coordinator of the Native Organizers Alliance of the Alliance for a Just Society. Let's all welcome Judith LeBlanc.
Today, we march for peace and for Mother Earth. We protest wars, climate change, poverty, and racism. We are in the streets to remind our governments that people power and movements matter. I am proud to be a part of this huge global wave for peace and justice. Yet I am very mindful of the difficult and hard road ahead. To go from protesting and being in the streets to victories. From protesting wars, weapons of mass destruction, poverty, and inequality to victories. So today, we protest. But as we do, we must recommit to doing the hard work of local organizing, building grassroots bases of diverse constituencies, educating our communities, setting local strategic goals and campaigns that bring movements together and measure our steps towards a world without war and racism. Our local organizing must include global solidarity. As the Lakota people say, we are all related. Our lives, our burdens, our futures are all related. In New Mexico, there's a Japanese company that's wanting to open a new uranium mine. That mine would destroy native lives, desecrate native lands. So, can local indigenous communities, anti-nuke faith groups, former uranium miners come together to stop that mine? Well, they've come together. Will they win? Perhaps. A victory would be more possible with a national campaign and global solidarity. What if our sisters and brothers in Japan began to organize a campaign targeting that company? What if indigenous groups, peace and faith groups developed a campaign to pressure the U.S. government Bureau of Land Management? Then a victory would be possible. So we need protests and organized grassroots campaigns. We need protesting and organizing that go global, go home, and keep this protest in your heart, but recommit to organizing local grassroots movements that can win a world that is free of poverty, racism, wars, and weapons of mass destruction. Thank you.
That was Judith LeBlanc of the Native Organizers Alliance. Next we have, from the Philippines, Walden Bello, an author, academic, and political analyst who served until recently in the Philippine Congress. Bello is a professor of sociology and public administration at the University of the Philippines, Diliman, and a guest professor at Binghamton University. He is the founding and executive director of Focus on the Global South, a policy research institute based in Bangkok, Thailand. Walden is one of the leading critics of the current model of economic globalization, combining roles of intellectual and activist. Bello was named Outstanding Public Scholar for 2008 by the International Studies Association. Let's welcome Walden Bello.
Walden Bello.
Thank you very much. It's really great to see all of us here, an international crowd. I bring you greetings from the Philippines and Southeast Asia. And the call of people in the Philippines and Southeast Asia is we want peace, no more war, no more nuclear weapons. I come from a region of the world that in the last 70 years has seen 3 wars. Of course, the Second World War that resulted in the tragedy of Nagasaki and Hiroshima, the Korean War that devastated the Korean people and continues to divide the Korean people, and the Vietnam War. Again, this was a war that was waged by the United States against the National Liberation Forces of Vietnam, who did win that war. I would just like to say here that our region is not free of war. Indeed, storm clouds are again gathering throughout our region, and the President of the United States, President Obama, has in fact declared that the strategic posture of the United States is the so-called pivot to Asia or pivot to the Pacific, and this is really a strategy that is meant to contain China. And so, geostrategic rivalry between China and the United States, pushed principally by the United States, in which the U.S. at this point is gathering its allies and pushing its military bases in Japan and Okinawa and Korea. And the U.S. has now moved, indeed, to a new military agreement with the Philippines that makes the Philippines, the whole country, a military base, potential military base for the United States. This is the thrust of this administration. And we are saying, we from Asia, the Philippines, we're saying no to the pivot to Asia. No to U.S. militarism. No to U.S.-China strategic rivalry. We want peace. We want disarmament of the region. Thank you very much.
Walden Bello of the Philippines. Next, we'd like to welcome Reverend Osagifo Sekou. Sekou was raised in St. Louis, beginning his ministry at Friendly Temple Missionary Baptist Church. Reverend Sekou was a scholar in residence at Stanford University's Martin Luther King Education and Research Institute. In 2014, before going to Ferguson, in mid-August to organize alongside local and national groups, training hundreds in nonviolent civil disobedience. He was arrested twice in Ferguson, once for praying in front of riot police, and later while co-leading a group of religious leaders on Moral Monday. Let's welcome Reverend Sekou.
We have come here this evening to bear witness to an essential truth. And that essential truth is that we have already won. That because we have committed ourselves to the end of nuclear weapons on our planet, and that we are making the connections and solidarity to the broader anti-war movement and to the broader movement that Black life matters. And so we say to the enemies of our struggle that you are on the wrong side of history. That what you see gathered here now, history shall record that there stood a group of people from around the world who committed themselves to a story older than themselves and bigger than themselves, and that is the story of humans struggling to make the world better than the way that they found it. That story is a story about Black youth in a little place called Ferguson who say they will not bow down. It is that story of young people in the streets of Baltimore right now being chased by the police and saying that they will not go home until there's justice for Michael Brown and Eric Gardner and for the victims of the bombing in Japan. That we have already won. And the question before us is that do we believe that we've already won? When we leave this place, are we willing to organize? Are we willing to sacrifice? Are we willing to engage in the kind of work necessary to break the back of the American empire? Are we willing to do that work? And to the members of the NYPD, we say to you, you are on the wrong side of history. That you have a moral and ethical obligation to protect and defend Black and brown children wherever they are. And we say to those who support nuclear weapons, you're on the wrong side of history. We have already won. We have already won. We have already won.
Reverend Sekou. Little housekeeping note. I want to remind those on the front banner and who are leading our march to later assemble on the right side at the end of the park here. We want to go old school for a couple seconds in honor of the famous activist Bob Marley. War. Let's do it. War. Huh. Good God, y'all. What is it good for? Absolutely nothing. Say it again now. War. Huh. Good God, y'all. What is it good for? Absolutely nothing. One more time. War. Huh. Good God, y'all. What is it good for? Absolutely nothing.
All right, everyone. We have someone coming straight from Brazil for you guys. Tomás de Toledo is the General Secretary of Paz, a Brazilian center of solidarity with people and struggle for peace. He is a professor of international relations at the University Paulista. He has a master in economic development from the University of Campinas, and he is a historian in the University of Sao Paulo. Let's welcome Tomás de Toledo.
Thank you so much, everybody. I'm very happy to be here in the United States, the only country in the world that used a nuclear weapon against the peaceful people, against the people who were in Hiroshima and Nagasaki. It was a massacre, comparable with Nazi's aggressions. We believe that the world needs to be free of all nuclear weapons, of all mass destruction weapons. Brazil and all Latin American countries have not nuclear weapons, have not mass destruction weapons. We believe that Latin American and Caribbean can be a zone of free nuclear weapons, and we are also committed with the peace in the world, with the peace in the Middle East, with the peace in everywhere. We do not want more wars for oil. Brazil has discovered great reserves of oil, and now we are under threatening. Venezuela is under threatening. Argentina is under threatening, and we don't want military interventions in our countries. We know what is the military dictatorship. We feel what is people being tortured, what is people being killed by thinking different of the government. But now we are working for peace, working for democracy, and we are struggling here with all peace lovers of the world to say we don't want any military intervention in any part of the world. We are committed with the sovereign and self-determination of all peoples, of all nations. We are together to say to the United States imperialism, no more intervention. Please let us keep in peace in our country to defend our sovereign. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Tomas de Toledo. And now, I am going to be presenting to you Mayor Matsui. He is doing his second term as mayor of Hiroshima, Japan. He is the president of Mayors for Peace. Which is an international association of 6,649 member cities in 160 countries, working for the start of negotiations on a nuclear weapons convention, with the goal of total abolition by 2020. Mayor Matsui was born in Hiroshima, and he is the son of a hibakusha father. He previously worked for the Japanese Ministry of Labor. I am pleased to welcome Mayor Matsui.
皆さんこんにちは。Good afternoon, everybody. 広島市長の松井です。被爆地広島の市長として、そして平和市長会議の会長として発言をさせていただきます。I'm Mayor Matsui Kazumi of the city of Hiroshima, and I would like to give a speech as mayor of an atomic bomb city and President of Mayors for Peace. 今、核兵器廃絶の実現に向けた具体的な道筋がつけられていることを強く願う多くの市民がこのニューヨークに結集しています。Many students from around the world are now gathered here in New York City with a strong desire that a concrete roadmap for nuclear weapon abolition be presented at the 2015 NPT Review Conference. ここに集う皆さんはこんな思いを他の誰にもさせてはならないという被爆者の固い決意や国境や世代を超えてしっかりと受け止めて核兵器廃絶に向けた